Deputy Speaker. And it's been a real pleasure to listen to so many excellent maiden speeches this morning, and so many of my colleagues saying such positive words about a budget which I'm so excited to support. In fact, every single member seated on this side of the chamber represents a mandate given by the British people when they voted for change on July the 4th. But the change they voted for was not just for Labour members to sit on these benches and continue the last government's failed policies of austerity and decline. On July the 4th, people voted to see real change. And I'm delighted to say this budget has set us on a path that will change our country for the better. This budget begins the process of fixing the foundations of our broken economy. It sets in motion the investment needed to deliver change. And this budget remains steadfast that no working person will see higher taxes in their payslips. Madam Deputy Speaker, the country knows the party opposite failed us. A cost of living crisis, a shoddy Brexit deal, and a dreadful mini-budget that fractured our economy. And it is working families in towns like Halesowen who felt their failures the hardest. People from across my constituency have shared countless stories of their struggles to cope. Their bills going up, their wages stagnating, and no help coming from the government. The last 5 years were the first Parliament in modern history where living standards were lower at the end than they were at the start of the Parliament. And people have been exasperated with our public services, watching relatives waiting months and years for NHS treatment, seeing their local services close, and the public infrastructure crumbling around them. They were tired of living under a government that didn't deliver on its commitments, tired of seeing our public services getting worse year after year, and tired of waiting for a government that will genuinely bring about lasting change. Yesterday, I was proud to listen to the Chancellor as she set out the plan to change our country. I was delighted to hear our focus on fixing the foundations of our economy, real investment in our public services, and rightly putting the burden on those with the broadest shoulders. And with each announcement, I began piecing together what this means for our community in Halesowen. This budget delivers a real difference for those most in need of help. An increase in the national living wage of 6.7%, putting £1,400 more in the pockets of retail workers, pub staff and many others. An increase of the carers limit to £196 a week. Carers charities in my constituency, like We Love Carers, have said how this will make a vital difference to them. It will allow people on really low incomes to earn that little bit extra to support their families. And a £25 billion investment in our NHS, meeting our promise to bring waiting times down to no longer than 18 weeks, just as they were under the last Labour government. But what I'm most pleased to see is the funding secured for our town centres and our local communities. It pains me to say it, but our high streets have struggled over recent years. I've seen many independent shops close, and our community centres are really struggling. So I was delighted to see the government providing £1 billion to support our high streets in our communities, and the infrastructure that will support the people across of Halesowen. This included £20 million to regenerate Halesowen Town Centre, and an additional £20 million to redevelop Hayden Hill Leisure Centre in Cradley Heath. Both really important projects that were promised under the last government, but no funding was provided. So I'm delighted to see this government has made that available. People deserve better. Halesowen deserves better. It is a time for revitalisation, and these commitments will do just that. Madam Deputy Speaker, this budget sets a precedent. This is a government laser-focused on delivering for our communities. It is a budget for growth, a budget for investment, a budget for fair taxation, a budget for workers, a budget for stability. It is a Labour budget. I am proud to support this budget, a budget that will change our country, and I am hopeful for the years ahead.